The GOP's Millennial Problem by Craig Holland Dixon. In Japan, they're known as the hikikomori, or the lost generation. Following the country's deep recession in the 1990s, thousands of young Japanese shut themselves off from the world, retreating to the confines of their bedrooms never to emerge again. Many became irreparably broken, left behind in a staggering economy. Now, with financial calamity gripping economies worldwide, unease amongst the youth is manifesting in different ways elsewhere. Armed with cell phones and social media in their pockets, youth took to the streets in 2011. Revolution shook Egypt, while riots and hedonistic revelry flooded London's streets. Austerity protests blanketed both Spain and Greece. America got the Occupy Wall Street movement. Many conservatives have been quick to condemn the Occupy movement as a manifestation of millennial laziness. Why don't these kids get jobs and take showers? In truth, the millennials do indeed have a crisis on their hands, and it is eroding their quality of life. That crisis, coupled with the power of social media, could spell disaster for Republicans in future election cycles. So how bad is it? Well, 85% of college graduates are moving back in with mom and dad. On top of that, most graduates are faced with crippling student debt, $27,000 on average. Of course, not everyone goes to college, and plenty of young people are trying to scrape by on their own. What about them? The Pew Research Center found in 2009 that the median net worth of households held by adults in the U.S. aged 65 or older was $170,494, but for adults under 35, a mere $3,662. Granted, if you're 65, you've had a bit of time to save up, but as Pew reports, that wealth ratio is unprecedented. What was a 10-to-1 gap in 1984 ballooned to 47-to-1 in 2009. Odds are it hasn't gotten better since then. The Census Bureau reports that only 55% of youth from ages 16 to 29 are employed at all. Far more are underemployed. Some have given up finding jobs altogether. The equation becomes muddled at this point, and it's difficult to know just how many young people are in trouble. But one thing is certain. Young people are not bathing in Benjamins. Why should this matter to Republicans? Well, in 2016, the Millennial Generation will become the largest age-based voting bloc in American politics. They will make up 1/3 of the electorate. The Republicans' voting base is aging. Without new blood, they will hemorrhage votes. In 2008, the GOP failed to put together any notable youth showing, but Obama built an entire ground game around them. Obama would have won in 2008 without the millennial vote, but millennial activism was a crucial component of his victory. They constituted a significant portion of his ground forces, identifying potential voters, handling get-out-the-vote operations, and lending to Obama's youthful appearances in the press. Juxtaposed against John McCain and an aging army of baby boomers, it's not a mystery to see how Obama so decisively won the marketing war. The Washington Post once called Tobin Van Ostern one of Obama's critical weapons. He put the boots on the ground that marched Obama into the White House. He served as the deputy director for Students for Barack Obama. Since 2008, he's kept a finger on the pulse of millennials, and I got a chance to ask him what he saw next for the GOP. The big issue is jobs. I don't think social issues are high on the priority list. That's true of young people on the conservative side too. But a good chunk of the right continues to focus on social issues, and that won't bode well for the GOP in the long term, he says. Van Ostern believes that the majority of GOP operatives don't know how to mobilize young people anymore, even though it was traditionally a big focus. Now that's Obama's game. Van Ostern admits that much of its success in outreach and recruitment started with Facebook activity, and then online communication. Millennials have been at the helm of the digital age for the rise of the meme, The Daily Show, Facebook, and YouTube, and these are the avenues in which their thinking is shaped. Thus far, the left has dominated new media, and Republicans, even the ones who have tried to exert control over the internet, don't seem to grasp this. Ideas, both good and bad, now have the power to go viral in a matter of minutes. Texas Governor Rick Perry learned this the hard way after his campaign released the ad Strong. The ad goes after the war on Christmas and gays in the military. The clip is one of the most disliked videos in the history of YouTube, putting Perry in the Hall of Shame with Justin Bieber. Young people do not want to hear about social issues so much as economic solutions. A pathway out of their mother's basement is a bigger concern than someone's bedroom behavior or religious affiliations. Many might argue that the social conservative vote is alive and kicking. After all, Rick Santorum is surging in the primary races. I would counter that the social conservative vote is alive, but it's aging quickly, and it can't kick hard enough to generate national appeal. An army of sweater vest activists cannot beat a tech-savvy Democrat campaign machine. Even after all the Tea Parties and all the talk of putting a stop to Obama's reign, the Republican Party has seen lower voter turnout in this election cycle than last. Santorum's appeal won't extend beyond a limited subset of conservative voters. He can't appeal to Democrats. independents, or young people. A generational shift is diminishing the importance of the social conservative voting bloc. An entrance poll conducted by the Center for Information and Research on Civil Learning and Engagement at the Iowa caucus found that 48% of under 30 voters supported libertarian-leaning Ron Paul. Only 23% supported Santorum. Ron Paul, unlike most conservatives, has been embraced by the internet. Not surprisingly, his enthusiastic supporters are young and tech-savvy. They've been a key to his surge in popularity. In 2008, his presidential campaign pioneered the money bomb, raising over $6 million in one day, with over 58,000 individual donors participating. Only 22 at the time. I was one of them. Traditional media has been quick to write a narrative that Paul is simply a fringe candidate, without substantial basis of support. But with an online fundraising juggernaut that's still going, and top-tier finishes in many primary states, it can no longer be asserted that Ron Paul's popularity is the result of a few determined hackers. The truth is coming out, and the truth is that young people are flocking to Paul's libertarian message. Still, a majority of millennial thinking goes leftward. 50% of the millennials identify themselves as Democrats, or Democrat-leaning, compared to just 36% who identify with the GOP. It's no surprise that Obama will take their support in 2012, with Pew reporting that 61% plan to back him in the general if Mitt Romney gets the nomination. Santorum would unquestionably garner even fewer millennial votes than Romney in a race against Obama. Republicans must be empathetic to millennials if they wish to see any shift in these numbers. Michigan Representative Justin Amash understands this. He is the second youngest member of Congress, born in 1980 and 31 years old. He falls somewhere in the nebulous border between Generation X and the Millennials. I asked him to share his thoughts about Ron Paul and the millennial vote. Ron Paul's unmatched popularity among young Republicans is evidence that the Republican Party will have to adapt to stay relevant. The party simply can't ignore the changes that are taking place. The next generation cares not only about economic freedom, but also about personal freedom. They view these freedoms as two sides of the same coin. When it comes to civil liberties and foreign policy, they want to see a Republican Party that is consistently and genuinely committed to limited government. More and more young people are recognizing that neither party has been honest with them. Democrats haven't protected their civil liberties, and Republicans haven't protected their wallets. And the politicians who are most partisan seem to be the ones who are least principled and the least honest. Young people are looking for alternatives. Individuals who are willing to stand up for liberty and the Constitution, even when it means challenging their own party. The empirical evidence backs up what Amash is saying, and it's time for Republicans to listen. While Amash believes the GOP is poised to capture the millennial vote, they're going to have to get serious about small government. That means listening to libertarian ideas. The grand old party will simply become the old party if they fail to win the millennials. Weekly Standard founder Bill Kristol recently suggested that the Republican Party would do well to purge itself of Ron Paul. Rick Santorum has vowed to fight against libertarian influence in the party. Neither course of action is wise. It's unlikely that America's millennials will follow Japan's hikikomori into quietism, and left-wing forces are always eager to recruit. If the GOP refuses to listen to millennials, they will have to accept electoral victory as a thing of the past. Like many millennials currently struggling, the party may begin to wonder if they have any future at all.